A very good afternoon, everyone. It is 4:05. We have waited for 5 minutes. We have received applications and interest from close to 98 people. 30 of them have already joined, and as we speak, people will keep joining. However, since this is a timed webinar, we will be starting our conversation with Dr. Anshu for dynamic pricing and impact of COVID to pricing related strategies in the bus industry. I am Vijeta Soni. I'm co-founder of Sciative Solutions. I come back from the technology background, working across different agencies and companies in India and US. Today, we are here to bring to you insights and limelight on dynamic pricing and pricing strategies which the bus industry should be applying in the times to come. We have Dr. Anshu Jalora with us. Dr. Anshu is a global thought leader and a pricing scientist. To give you a very quick introduction about Dr. Anshu, he's a topper from IIT Delhi, who then went to United States, did his PhD in dynamic pricing from Texas A&M University. He has worked in the area of pricing for close to 19 years now, if not more than that. And he has done pricing for multiple industries, starting from airlines to railways, hotels and resorts, casinos. So many of the casinos in Las Vegas are using the dynamic pricing model set in by Dr. Anshu and his team. He has also done a lot of dynamic pricing for retail and the e-commerce industry. And very recently, he has ventured into the dynamic pricing for the bus travel industry in India. Today, Dr. Anshu, I would like for you to start this conversation and speak to the bus owners community. And I would like to thank all of you to be coming and joining us in time and helping us build this knowledge base across the industry. Thank you so much for joining. Over to you, Dr. Jalora.
Thank you, Vijeta, for this wonderful introduction. And I would like to thank all the participants. As you were speaking, the count has already gone up from 30 to 37. And as I'm looking at the participants in the list, I can see there are people who have joined from Raipur, people have joined from Pune, people have joined from Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Lucknow, Jaipur. So we have a all India meet happening today on this very amazing topic of how should pricing be done in the COVID period. And it's indeed my privilege to speak with all of you today. Before I continue my conversation, I would also like to show my gratitude and thanks to some of the people who have helped organize this gathering. I would especially like to thank Mr. Prasanna Patwardhan. Uh, he gave me some of his thought processes and what the industry thinks in terms of pricing during COVID times and what measures that are already being taken by the industry. I would also like to thank multiple BOKI associations and members spread throughout the country who have helped us take this uh, message of this webinar to their associations, getting the bus operators more sensitized towards looking at COVID pricing and joining our program. So would like to thank all of them and would like to thank the Sciative team for putting this wonderful program together. As Vijita has already mentioned, we are Sciative Solutions. We are pricing geeks. We apply scientific methods in understanding markets, understanding demand, understanding customer pricing, paying capacities, and how companies should price. Bus area is of great interest to us. Bus is very close to us, and that's the reason we did a thorough study on this changing market paradigm which is coming up as a result of COVID-19. See, this COVID-19, which we also call as coronavirus, is a completely unprecedented behavior which is happening in the market. No one has seen this type of behavior ever. I mean, just take an example. I don't think even during wars with Pakistan, we ever had Mumbai metro shut down or we ever had a lockdown of the entire country to this scale. In fact, India's lockdown is considered as the biggest lockdown in the history of humanity. Never in the history 1.3 billion population has gone for a lockdown ever in the history. And so these are completely unprecedented times. Now, as we are living through these times, we will notice that lots of behaviors that we have seen in the market will change. The way customers used to behave with us will change. The way our competitors will react, the way our markets will behave, the way government will behave, the way our investors behave, everything will change. And the only way to survive and succeed in this kind of changing behavior is to be ready for the change and embrace the change. So I will use today's opportunity to share some of our thoughts, which are based on our observations of different markets around the world, how changes are already beginning to happen in different markets in related industries, and more insights from the recent railways opening up of railway tickets and railway travels in the lockdown period. What can we learn from there, and what kind of scenarios therefore emerge for the bus industry, and how should bus industry respond to it? So let me first start with what kind of changes are already happening around the globe in related industries. Let's look at airline industry. I mean, some airlines have gone to such extreme where they will be taking blood samples of every single passenger before they board the flight. So Emirates has already started putting this into practice. Air Asia, they have designed a complete new uniform. It's like people are going in space shuttle, not a flight. Okay, so people will have to wear masks. There will be a complete gown, suit uh, with PPE guidelines. There will be visors. Full protection gear will be provided to people. So this is already happening in Australia. I saw in the news today that Indian Airlines are also being advised to follow similar measures. So, and at least for a period of 4 months after the air travel is permitted in industry in India, such dress code will be seen. So that's one interesting change that we are going to notice. Another very closely related industry is hotel industry. Now it's very interesting that not only now hotel will be taking information on customers' demographic, location, and their identity cards and a proof of address, but they will also be now keeping a record of their travel history. Where have you come from? What they will be checking their Arogya Setu information. They will take down their temperatures, and in countries like Taiwan, people are actually already being sprayed down with disinfectants to make sure that none of the coronavirus particles enter into the hotel property and become a danger for the other residents in the hotel. Now, China was the country where all of this started, and China was also the first country where they were able to get control over corona. So, I mean, if you look at the number of new cases that have come in China over the last 1 month, there have been much lesser number of new cases that have come up. But a very interesting change is being observed in the behaviors of customers. So, multiple surveys of people who are living in different Chinese cities, surveys have been done to find out what they think about traveling, what they think about going to work, resuming their lives back to normal. And surprisingly, many people, although there are such strong restrictions and such great recovery that has happened in China, there is still lots of skepticism in the market. People are still not comfortable going out in the open markets. People are not comfortable traveling. Their biggest fear is that what happens if they go to the market, they catch coronavirus, they come back to their homes and their children catch coronavirus. This is a big fear which the people are living with. So this is something that is likely to extend to other markets also. Um, Not only people themselves, but even associations are becoming very sensitive to how safety norms and safety aspects will be set up in their own industries. Spain is an amazing example where labor unions have actually called strikes because the employers were not putting proper safety measures in place for the factory workers. This is again very unprecedented. Trade unions have gone on strike for salary related issues, for hiring related issues, firing related issues. But now trade unions are going on strike for safety related issues. This is a completely new dimension unseen in the past. Um, Definitely, some changes are being observed in the Indian bus industry also. If we look at some of the measures that have been announced by some of the state transports, for example, I'm looking here at Telangana State Road Transport Corporation, where they have mentioned that seating capacity will be reduced to half so that social distancing norms can be practiced in the buses. Andhra Pradesh State Road Transport Corporation has come up with new layouts which are providing social, which are as per the social distancing norms, and these are the new styles. Here is a sample of it, which probably will become everyday practice. So lots of changes are happening in the market. Lots of news is coming out in the market. Next, I'm actually going to talk about what people are actually thinking and what they are actually doing. So the biggest source of information in the world is Google, and even if we forget something about ourselves, Google will have the answer for us. So next time, if you forget something about yourself, just ask Google, hey, what was I doing on this particular date in the history, and Google will have the answer for you. So we went to the Google and asked Google how people are searching related to travel in buses and railways and flights. And definitely Google had answers for us. So we first asked Google to tell us about what's happening in China. So what I'm showing you here is a 12-month search pattern of people living in China, how their searches related to buses and trains have changed in the last 12 months. Definitely, you see the dotted line. That was a time when coronavirus started getting covered in news, not only in China, but around the world. And since that time, uh, the, the search pattern, which is also an indication of how much interest people were showing in buses and trains, went down drastically. Now, one very interesting thing to notice, if you look at the most recent month time, there is a increase in the number of searches followed by a decrease. The following decrease is probably because of the fact that people who had some panic travel need, people who had unmet need for a long period of time, probably they traveled, but for the regular travel behavior, customers are not showing as much interest in traveling. This is one very interesting thing that we can actually observe in the last 1 month of demand that has been observed in China. Now, another country that has actually responded amazingly well to COVID epidemic is South Korea. So South Korea also was one of the first countries in the world to impose lockdown. It was also one of the first countries in the world to lift lockdown. In, uh, so the the drop in market demand in South Korea also started happening towards the end of December. So that's when you see the dotted line comes up, and we see drop in travel related searches in buses, trains, and flights. And notice that again in the last 1 month and a half, there has been an increase in the number of searches related to bus. However, it is not continuing to increase. It increased and then it has gone down again. Again, something very interesting for us to notice, learn, and see what exactly it means for us. Another country which actually is kind of like an exemplary country of its own is Taiwan. Now, Taiwan is a very interesting story. In 2003, when SARS COVID happened, Taiwan was the worst affected country. So Taiwan was the most well prepared country during this round of COVID happened. And you will be surprised to know that Taiwan never had even a single day of lockdown. The total number of COVID cases that were identified in Taiwan were close to 400. And out of these 400 cases, also 360 people had come inside with the infection from China and other countries. So there were only 40 fresh cases of COVID that happened in Taiwan. Taiwan never put any lockdown restrictions in place because they were well prepared. Now, countries around the world are studying the Taiwan model. What exactly did Taiwan do so that it was able to have this entire COVID phase, lockdown, COVID epidemic phase handled so beautifully without even lockdown? So I will talk a little bit about that piece as well. But notice that while there was no lockdown, the demand for travel and the interest in travel in Taiwan also started decreasing towards the middle of January itself, and it became very low in the months of around mid Feb to around mid March. After mid March, the demand has come back up, But notice there is still a very big gap between where the demand used to happen earlier and where the demand is happening right now. There are no new fresh cases of of COVID in Taiwan. There are no lockdown restrictions. There are no travel restrictions, but still people are not traveling. And that is something that the entire world needs to take a notice at, because similar things will happen in their countries as well, and people need to be prepared for that. So I told you that I will tell about what Taiwan did really well. Taiwan just applied its mind. You know, how did Taiwan manage to avoid uh, lockdown? Mind it. So they did monitoring. So they were the first ones to start using thermal cameras. And another thing which they did really well was they monitored defaulters. Anyone who was not following social distancing guidelines, they were penalized heavily. So there is around $450 of penalty if someone is caught without a mask. Restaurants are working perfectly fine. Every single restaurant has put social distancing norms in place. Those who have not been able to put those norms in place, they're already shut. But there is a very heavy monitoring which is happening. In India also, they are trying to bring this monitoring through the Arogya Setu app. The thermal screening will be done at different points of contact with customers. So that is something that will happen in India also. The country that mastered this art was Taiwan. Another thing they did really well was isolation. Anyone who traveled inside Taiwan from any country outside after December 31st was necessarily quarantined for 14 days. Only after those quarantine of 14 days, people were let out of those quarantines, self quarantines. So they practiced isolation really well. They followed notifications very well. So they used self notification and identification technologies, something similar to Arogya Setu. People were notified of where they can buy um, personal protective equipments, face masks, if they want any items delivered, which are the safe places to buy it from. And they developed a tiered notification system for people who are facing health issues. So people were very proactive in notifying those issues, and this notification piece worked really well. Another piece that worked really well in case of Taiwan was database. They maintained travel history of every single person entering or leaving the country. Any person who's going into any place of social contact with people, that complete contact details are saved. Every infected person's every single contact that the person has done with any other person is maintained in a database, so that if there is any case noticed, all the contacts of those person are traced and they are put into quarantine. So they did an amazing job of maintaining and creating that database, something that other countries are now trying to do. So lots of these types of practices will definitely flow into our travel industry also. There will be monitoring, there will be isolations, there will be notifications, and there will be database creations. Probably as the technology becomes robust, as the industry starts maturing, the level of maturity of all of these things will change. But definitely we have example of Taiwan to look at, something where the entire world will move towards. Let's also look at the case of India. Now, India, surprisingly, we did not see drop in demand in December, January, or Feb. The drop in demand for travel started happening in March. So in March, we started noticing drop in interest in demand. And now you notice in the last 1 week, there is some interest in demand. There is some interest in flights because Air India has started flying customers from flying Indian citizens from some limited sets of cities around the world. They've opened up train travel in some restricted locations. So even Google is predicting that the overall number, it has given it as a dotted line. Nowhere in the world it is actually showing data as a dotted line, but even Google is predicting that the interest in train travel will go up. However, if you compare the point of demand of train travel towards the right hand side versus the left hand side, on the left extreme we have May from last year, and in the right extreme we have May from this year. Clearly there's a drop of some 45%, which means that yes, there the demand is going to come back. However, the demand will be much lower. So this tells us a lot about what to expect when the lockdowns restrictions are lifted for the bus industry, and something that we'll talk more about. Now, before we talk more about bus industry, let's also take a closer look at how did customers behave with this restrictions when the travel restrictions were lifted with some limited number of trains during the lockdown period. So Indian Railways has opened up railway routes in some of the very critical parts of India, and bookings are actually happening very aggressively. This is not normal booking. This is panic booking. So we should not try to read this as a normal market behavior. So let's look at what all things we can observe from here. So as soon as the charts were opened, on majority of the routes, all the train charts that were opened, they filled up in a matter of minutes or hours. Okay, so here I am showing example of Sabarmati to New Delhi. This is Ahmedabad to Delhi route. So on this Ahmedabad to Delhi route, as soon as the charts were open, the seats got filled. When I took the screenshot, chart for 20th May was not open. That's the reason you see available seats. Otherwise, the moment charts are opening, the seats are getting filled. However, is this happening for all the routes? So what I'm showing you here is Ahmedabad to Delhi. Now, if you look at Delhi to Ahmedabad, it's actually the complete opposite story. Notice 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. Ahmedabad to Delhi was completely filled. No seats were available. Here, a huge number of seats are available. And this tells us a very interesting thing. The demand recovery probably will not be symmetric. We may actually not see demand on all the routes happening at the same pace. Demand recovery will happen at different pace on different routes. Okay, that is one very interesting thing that we can see here. Another piece that railways did was they did dynamic pricing of train fare, and they applied dynamic pricing to different degrees on different routes. For example, in this Delhi Mumbai, so actually the train is going from Delhi to Panvel. So Delhi Mumbai, we can see there is a 20% dynamic premium applied by railways. On this Raipur to New Delhi, there's a pretty steep premium. There's a 40% dynamic pricing premium applied by railways. If you look at Jaipur to Delhi, again there is a 40% premium applied by railways. So railways actually, because it was monopoly, because there was a panic demand which was waiting to happen, they saw an opportunity to fleece customers, which they did really well. They applied a very steep premium, and they were able to sell all their seats at a pretty steep premium very fast. But does that mean that every single customer is waiting to pay premium? So we found a very interesting case. If you look at Delhi to Jaipur, we looked at both third AC and second AC. Now notice that in the third AC, if you look at 15, there is only one seat available. 16th, only one seat is available. 17th, all the seats are gone. 18th, only 16 seats are remaining in the third AC. If you look at second AC seats on the same train, same dates, I have 47 seats available for 16th of May, 82 seats available for 17th, 154 seats still available for 18th. Now, this tells us a very interesting thing about customer behavior. So while on one side, customers are paying premium prices, but they're still very price sensitive. Now, as normal customers, we can easily expect that the number of people traveling in second AC coaches will be much lesser in comparison to the number of people who will travel in third AC coaches. So the social distancing will be much better in a second AC compartment. However, people are still not as particular about social distancing benefits of second AC. They've still preferred third AC much more than second AC because there was a pretty steep price difference. And that is something that we should always remember, that people will continue to be price sensitive. People's pockets are really tight. If we think that we'll be able to make people pay any price, probably on a short term this strategy might work, but this strategy is not going to be sustainable for a long duration. We understand that bus industry has been locked down for a long time. EMIs are accumulating, driver salaries are accumulating, uh, all the bus operators are making heavy losses. Now there will be, when the market opens up, it may happen that all of your schedules may not be allowed to go live. You may have to go live with very limited number of schedules. So there will be a very strong urge to charge as high price as we can. But we'll have to be a little cautious here. We'll have to look at the overall picture in totality and play a bit more responsible route when we are pricing our services. Something that we'll talk more about as we go further. Another very interesting piece we noticed in railways case was when I was looking at Secunderabad bus going to Delhi. I noticed that seats were available, bookings were happening for that. But when I looked at same bus when it was um, the Nagpur piece, they were not taking any bookings for that route at all. So probably what railways was doing was it was taking bookings only for long routes. For wire routes, it is avoiding bookings. Something to notice here. There might be some other reasons also, but I found this very interesting because they are showing that there is a train available. There is a train which is going on this route. However, they are not taking bookings. So it tells us that maybe not all wire routes need to be served by us. We will need to be able to prioritize and decide which wire routes we want to serve and which wire routes we don't want to serve as the lockdown restrictions are lifted. So here is what our thoughts are in regards to the demand behavior post lockdown. So I have divided this post lockdown period into three phases. Okay. So phase one, I'm calling this as a pressure release phase. So this is the time when people will suddenly see an opportunity to travel back to their hometown or travel back to some place they really want to desperately want to go meet their family members, attend to some family emergency. Okay. So uh, this is going to be that pressure release period where there will be panic booking and people will there will be mad rush for bookings. Okay. This will be followed by a transition phase. This is the phase when the market demand will evolve. People will learn from what is happening in the market around them. The bus operators will adapt to the new guidelines that have been given by the government. um, the changing market dynamics, bus operators will adopt to it. The market will grow and it will eventually reach a stable stage which we are calling as the new normal. Now, there will be a certain lead time before the market returns to the new normal. And at this stage, it is very difficult to predict when will this new normal actually will come in. I mean, if you look at the countries where there was no lockdown period, even for them, the new normal has still not come in, even though there was no lockdown in those countries at all. The market definitely has shrunk. If you look at countries around the world, uh, some time back there was a presentation done which showed that in majority of the markets around the globe, between 30 to 70% of the capacity of the supply has come back in. However, only between 20 to 50% demand has returned back. So there will be a shrinkage in the market. The shrink can be anywhere between 5 to 50%, and that is something only time will tell. Now, lots of behavioral changes are happening. Now, many businesses are realizing that they actually don't need to travel to meet their customers or clients in different cities. They can also do video conferencing and they can close deals on video calls also. Not every time they need to go and meet people in person, but a Google Meet call or a Zoom call is equally effective. So these things will have a changes in the behaviors of people, and that is something that we will continue to observe. Now let's go detail and much more deeper into how these three phases will play out, what kind of market dynamics will prevail in each of these three phases, and what kind of pricing best practices do we need to have in each of these different phases. So the phase one, we are calling it as pressure release phase. This is a phase of panic travel. People who have not been able to travel during the lockdown period with urgent travel needs, they are the people who will travel. There will be compulsive book buying. Customers will show preference for premium and established brands. And this is something that that we will see. And notice there was a earlier bookings were allowed for 18th May onwards. We were analyzing those charts and we noticed that there were buses running from Bangalore to Hyderabad. There were buses listed from as low as 1200 rupees to as high as 2400 rupees by the premium players. Surprisingly enough, bus qualities were same, everything was same. The COVID health shield was applied on both the buses. However, the number of bookings in this 2400 rupees listing was much higher than the number of bookings that were happening in the 1200 rupees book bus. The 2400 listing was from a premium bus operator, someone who is very well established in the market, has a very strong reputation of quality services, and they were able to charge a premium. And that is something we expect that will happen in the post-lockdown situation also. So those bus operators that have spent a lot of efforts in building their brands, building their reputation for amazing services, they will be able to command a better premium in the market. That's something that usually happens even in festive days also. Supply side from different operators will resume with caution, because people will not know whether my bus will return back with decent occupancies or not. Will the lockdown be suddenly imposed, because of which my buses might get held up in different cities? So there will be certain uncertainties, as a result of which supplies will not be very supplies will not resume in a very smooth manner. Uh, uh, Supplies will be limited, and there can be some government restrictions also. However, one thing which will happen will be there will be uncertainty in demand across routes. And what we need to do in such case, this is coming as a recommendation, is before you start listing down your schedules on different routes, observe the booking behavior. Don't be in this rush to list your buses very quickly. Wait and watch. If you have 10 routes running on a particular 10 schedules running on a particular route, list one route and see what kind of bookings you are seeing. If you see that yes, bookings are picking up, then gradually keep increasing your schedules. Don't put all your schedules all together. It's not going to be very productive for you. So observe booking and demand patterns. Only after that, go with your additional schedules. One piece of caution which I had mentioned earlier also is, don't outprice from the market. Just because you can command a premium and the demand is very high, please understand that customers are going through very tough phase. And those people who are traveling, they're traveling because there is some compulsion. They will have financial pressures in them. Many people have not got their salaries for many months. Many employees are laid off. Now there is a government estimate which says that close to 12 crore people, 120 million people in India have lost jobs during the COVID period. So in this situation, together as a bus operator community, it would be great if community as a whole decides that there will be some upper limits on how much premium will be charged. Otherwise, people will face a very difficult time, something that associations, I think, are already working on. So this pressure release phase will be followed by the transition phase. Now, this is the time when all unavoidable travels will happen. So people who are traveling to their native places during festival days, or people who are traveling to join jobs, people who are going to start new colleges, some important urgent meetings, or somebody has to travel to attend a family member's wedding. So those unavoidable travels will happen. Customers will be very cautious. Okay. Um, and this is the time when customers are getting accustomed to the new safety travel norms which are going to get introduced and start getting implemented, and customers expectations will evolve. So it might happen that as soon as the COVID lockdown gets over, people probably will not be very particular about if proper sanitization has happened or not. But a month later, they will come back and say that, hey guys, you're supposed to clean up this well. Have you used UV light cleaning? Have you used the proper disinfectant? Where is your certification? Where is your Arogya Setu report of your drivers, conductors? People's expectations will change. People will become more aware of their safety needs, and that is the transition phase we are talking about. One thing which will happen a lot in this transition phase, which makes us worry a lot, is while the demand will not resume fully, supply will be in much excess. So we will deal with a time when there will be very high excess supply over demand, as a result of which there will be aggressive price competition in the market. And uh, these are some tough times that bus operators will have to go through. The overall demand will be low, restrictions will be lifted, so all the bus operators who are holding their buses for a long time, everyone will start listing their buses. Suddenly there will be no I mean, the number of travelers will be much lesser, and people might resort to price cutting, cut each other's prices and somehow get the booking. But that thing is not going to be the best thing for the industry to do. Um, Now, demand in different routes will also resume at different rates. And here, one thing which will need to be done will be your route plans will need to be adjusted periodically. So probably every alternate week, every 15 days, you might need to change your route plans. So you may need to divert some schedules from city A to city B, because city A demand is now transitioning more towards city B. So those types of route planning exercises will become very critical, and something that we have already seen, that lots of bus operators are showing a lot of data driven interest in doing the route planning. We see more and more interest in application of this type of practices coming up in your future. Now, the customers who will travel during in this transition period, there will be a mix of both price sensitive customers as well as premium customers. Now, depending upon each individual trip which will happen, buses will need to determine, am I getting demand from price sensitive customers, or am I getting demand from premium customers? And they will dynamically need to adjust the pricing. Definitely they need to set proper lower limits and upper limits so that they are not going overboard with their dynamic pricing. However, they will need to keep a very close eye on what type of customers am I dealing with on each different trip, and am I charging them accordingly. If I keep my prices high but all the customers that I'm dealing with are price sensitive customers, I will not be able to fill up my seats. If I'm selling my seats at very low prices but the kinds of customers that I'm dealing with are premium customers, I'm actually leaving money on the table and again not doing service to myself also. So use of technology, use of scientific methods is highly recommended in this phase, and something that we'll see more and more application going forward. Then we will, when all this mess of transition will get completed, then we'll enter into this phase of new normal. This new normal world is going to look very different. We can only imagine what this new normal is going to be. However, from demand and supply perspective, we can make certain assumptions. There will be truncated demand. We will not see the same level of demand that we had seen last year or the year before. The kinds of pricing strategies and pricing approaches and the price points that worked last year or the year before or period before lockdown, those approaches will not work anymore. If some operators were able to charge a premium before lockdown, they may suddenly realize that they are not able to command that premium anymore, because there are some new entrants who have established themselves as more safe and secure operators. So in those cases, there will be a shift in terms of who is able to command premium in the market and who cannot. Okay, so we'll have some recommendations on those lines also. But the kinds of buyers that we'll be dealing with, they will be educated buyers. One thing which is already happening is ratings, which we see on online travel websites. Ratings will continue to lose their significance. Customers will not pay as much attention to the ratings, but they will pay more attention to the actual work being done by the bus operators in terms of delivering safe travel to the customers. Everybody wants safety. Okay, even if a customer is buying a, a seat in a low premium bus, customer would still like to have a safe travel. So they will be very concerned about, are you following all the safety norms properly or not? The expectations will change, and that is something that um, we are noticing that some bus operators are already leading this change through their communication work which they are doing with the customers, and this will happen more and more as we move forward. Definitely there will still be some excess supply over demand, because the supplies have been planned keeping the pre-COVID market scenario in mind. Post-COVID, we expect the markets will shrink. Therefore, as a straight intuitive uh, outcome would be, there will be excess demand, excess supply over demand, and price competition will continue. Okay. However, new premium players will emerge. Now, on each of the routes, the changes in the demand will be very different. Some routes may actually not see any changes in demand at all. Some routes may see very excessive drops in demand. So on each of the different routes, we will see different types of market shrink which will happen. And here our recommendation for the bus operators is that they should emphasize more on their branding and educating customers on safety measures, something which we'll talk more about. In terms of pricing, as we have said, traditional pricing rules will not work anymore. And why is this so? The reason for this is because the gap between supply and demand will fluctuate much more than what we see right now. And the only way to make money and survive in these types of fluctuations between demand and supply gap is through dynamic pricing. uh, IRCTC has already taken a lead here, where they have already resumed their railway services with dynamic pricing in picture. So we will see more and more adoption of scientific dynamic pricing going forward. And this is something which we see is going to become an essential entity for the bus industry to grow and survive in the post-COVID market scenario. So now, what are the factors based on which bus operators will be able to charge a premium? Okay, now up until now, if you look at the pre-corona period, in the pre-corona normal period, bus operators were able to charge a premium price based on number of quality factors: quality of bus, comfort delivered, age of the bus, maintenance, upkeep, complimentary services of television, Wi-Fi, water bottles, restrooms in the bus, on-time arrivals and departure, dress code, appearance, mannerism of the staff, conduct of the staff. Uh, are the buses taking extra unbooked passengers on the way or not? The quality of those passengers who board the buses during the trip, quality and number of rest stops, reputation and history of the bus operators. So these are all the factors based on which bus operators had built their position in the market, built reputation in the market. They created a sense of quality, as a result of which they were able to command premium prices in the market. However, the new normal is going to be different. In addition to the historical drivers of value, there will be many additional factors which will allow bus operators to charge a premium price. And that is something we want to highlight here and bring to the notice of the bus community. I will be giving some examples here. Examples such as, are sanitization, deep cleaning practices up to the mark or not? If when customers board the bus, they see that sanitization is not proper, next time when they travel in your bus, they will not attach you as a premium player anymore. Is the bus staff using proper masks, gloves, personal protective equipments, following proper sanitization norms? Are the norms well defined and executed? So here are some examples of how norms will be defined, set, educated. Customers will be educated. So a lot of marketing work will happen here. Bus operators will set up standards for different practices. Bus associations will also define many standards for their association members to follow and probably give certificates. We are also hearing that it might even happen that some international organizations may also get involved in certifying some bus operators, whether they are following certain sanitization and proper social distancing practices or not. Okay, so not only it will be about educating the customers, but educating your staff, educating your drivers, educating your conductors, making sure that they understand the sanitization practices properly. They know exactly what is to be done, how it is to be done, proper records are kept, proper records are displayed, because people will be concerned about these factors. And it's better that the entire industry starts working towards this now itself, rather than following it when someone else start doing it and they start noticing changes in the demand with them versus their counterparts. Okay. um, Pre-boarding checks, are those being done properly or not? Thermal screening, Arogya Setu app. One interesting thing that possibly will happen will be mystery audits by some third party neutral agencies will be done, which will be far more authentic, something that customers will pay much more importance to. And these ratings will be made available to customers so that they know what exactly is the true picture with each individual bus, which will help customers make an informed decisions. One interesting thing which you are noticing is that some travel organizations around the world have started taking corona tests of their drivers, conductors, and other staff members, so that they can provide that information to their passengers and give them this comfort whether the staff is properly is corona positive or it's free of corona, so that the customers can have this peace of mind that they are not close to any COVID positive case. Seat layouts, some bus operators have already started putting cabins inside buses. It was so interesting to see when some bus operators mentioned to us that they have given a full cabin isolated experience to people so that they can have this complete peace of mind. Something which we definitely feel will have a very strong and positive impact on the customers. So changes being done on the seat layouts and educating customers on the safety norms. This is something we expect to happen, and it is our humble recommendation to the bus operator industry that please uh, start doing more value add in your services by bringing in these additional safety measures. Not only this will allow you to command a premium price in the market, but this will also give this uh, peace of mind to the travelers. This perception of safety is very important. The traveler will be very scared. Now, as a community, we can give them that comfort that, hey guys, you are in safe hands, don't worry, we are making sure that uh, you will not have to face this corona problems if you are traveling with us. They will be very happy to pay a premium also for this, something that they will be more and more sensitive going forward. I mean, um, as our national leaders are also saying, corona probably may remain in the market for a long time, and we may have to learn to live with corona. And one of the best things that we can do as an industry in this case is to set up practices which will make customers travel convenient and safe during corona times. So with this, I will like to summarize the session. What our recommendation is that a bus operator community should focus on building value by adopting the new safety norms, set and follow high standards. Don't just follow the minimum standards, but go over one step beyond. I would like to give an example of a retail company. So we have memberships of West Side, Landmark Group, as well as Shoppers Stop. Now, without telling the name of the retailer, we were very happy when one of these retail chains called us and said that, sir, we will only take 10 seconds. We just want to let you know that every single dress in our store is being thoroughly sanitized. And they also told us the standard which will be done. And they said that we are looking forward to your safe visit to our store soon. It was such a comforting message to hear, because people have been locked down in their homes for a long time. They want to go out, they want to go back to the malls, start shopping. Now when I get this comfort proactive through this proactive communication from my retail partner that, hey sir, I am making sure that you will have a safe visit to my store, it suddenly increases the credibility of that retail store with me. And then I start wondering, hey, I heard this amazing message from one retailer, but this other retailer who I shop very often hasn't told me anything. Are they doing anything in this or not? And that will play out a role in the bus industry also. So our humble recommendation is, please set and follow high standards when it comes to safety norms. Communicate more and more with your customers proactively. Customers are in a very vulnerable situation. They really need guidance, support, safe hands of bus operators, which I'm sure all the bus operators also want to provide. They just waiting for bus operators to come forward and help them. The traditional pricing practices following the historical premium discounting practices will not work. New normals will set up in the market, and operators will need to be agile to adjust to the new normal. One thing will be, the people will need to monitor markets very closely, identify supply and demand characteristics, and respond quickly. And the only way to respond quickly would be to make more and more use of technology. I mean, those countries, those organizations that have done really well in such times, tough times, are the ones who have leveraged technology very well. So our recommendation here also is, in order for bus operators to understand their market condition, their customer behavior, the customer paying capacity behavior, they definitely need to use technologies. And one more point which we will reiterate, which is P1 is our panic phase, the period right after the lockdown restrictions are lifted on the travel industry, when panic booking will be happening. Please don't overcharge your customers. They are in deep trouble, and as community, as bus operators community, we all need to be their partners. And towards this partnership, we want to give an assurance from our side that SciTech is committed to making its partners across industries successful in these tough times using artificial intelligence and technology. And uh, at SciTech, we have already started working on making preparations for the changes that will happen in the pricing because of COVID, post-COVID scenarios. So our machines will quickly learn how bus and market behaviors and customer behaviors are changing, so that we can provide this informed decision making to our partner bus operators and help the entire community become successful. I have given my email address and phone number below. We'll be very happy to have more detailed discussions with bus operators on how they can handle this COVID scenarios better. Uh, Definitely being an integral part of this community and serving this community. With this, I'll stop. And if there are any questions, please type the questions in the chat section.
Yeah.